I have not pulled out my vlog camera in years, but we are going to be vlogging today. I have so much prep to do for Rosh Hashana. I have many desserts to make, many chalot to make, so I figured I'll bring you into my kitchen with me and we can do some baking together. I just finished filming a few videos for TikTok. If you guys don't follow me there, I'm very active. I post as many times per day as possible, and because I know that I will get at least one question, the lip combo today is MAC matte lipstick in shade 606 Kind of Sexy with Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. This lip liner is my most used ever, and because I have not shown you a sneak peek of my makeup collection in a very long time, let me show you what my vanity drawer looks like. Here it is. So I have all my lip liners in the back and like random lip products, my skin prep, my eyebrow products, my setting sprays, then I have my most used lipsticks here, my most used lip liners and glosses. Then this is just basically all my everyday most used base products. And then we have eye stuff here, mascara, etc. And then this drawer up here is like secondary most used stuff. We have more foundations, cream blushes, my setting powders all here, more setting sprays, and then eyeshadow palettes that I grab. And then I do have kind of overflow stuff down here, which we can get into a different time. This was my TikTok filming setup of the day. Now that we have all of those really important things out of the way, let's start baking. So the first thing that I do before I start any baking in my kitchen is I make sure that everything on my counters is put away. There's no dishes in my sink, and I also have kind of some sort of vibe set so that it's fun to cook in here. The first thing that I like to do is put a simmer pot on, because it is simmer pot season. What is a simmer pot? Let me show you. This one is already a few days old, so it's not the prettiest to look at, but basically I cut up lemons, oranges, I put a cinnamon stick in there, I put cloves, and then I just let this simmer on a very, very, very low heat on my burner, and it makes my entire house smell like fall. So I have the simmer pot on, I have my entire kitchen cleared up, and now I'm gonna pull out my KitchenAid. I don't have much counter space, so I do have to keep this in other areas of my house. And then the next thing that I pull out is my KitchenAid attachment. This goes into like the head of the KitchenAid, and it is a digital scale, and it also sifts the flour and powdered sugar as it's pouring it into the KitchenAid by itself, so I don't have to sift any of my ingredients, and I don't need to pull out a separate scale. It just measures everything that I put inside, and it saves me a lot of time. You're just gonna unscrew this, take this piece out, and then you're gonna go ahead and insert this base here. My kitchen does not have the best lighting because this is the only window and this is the station I need to be at. So if I'm filming, I'm backlit and my camera doesn't know what to do with me. So I'm trying to use a light, not really helping, so just bear with me. So now the KitchenAid is completely set up, but I am not using this for the first recipe. I'm gonna leave this here and we're gonna come back to it. So I actually already made the base for one of the desserts a few days ago, and it's been in the freezer, so I wouldn't have to do everything all in one day, but I do still think that I'm gonna be making another batch of this anyways. So I'm gonna pull out another box of phyllo dough, because that is the base for this recipe, and let's unbox this to see what we're looking like here. I do need it to kind of thaw out just a little bit before I put it into the oven to bake off. Moment of truth. There is a lot of butter on here, and that's why the foil is sticking, but I think that this actually looks great. So I'm gonna preheat the oven and we're gonna start baking this. This is the base for baklava. So I'm gonna turn the oven on to 350, yes. And let's let that preheat. Then we're gonna go ahead and put this in completely uncovered for pretty much, I think it's like around 90 minutes until it gets very golden brown. So let's get started on the syrup, because the syrup needs to completely cool before you put it onto the hot, freshly baked baklava base. So I'm gonna need to pull out sugar, water, lemon, and orange blossom. So let me grab all those ingredients. You said the same thing I told ya. My eyes are clear, there's no secret. I wanna know. Pro tip, don't throw away your used lemon rinds. Throw them into your garbage disposal so that your sink doesn't smell musty. 1 cup water and 2 cups of sugar. I'm gonna need 2 hands. also adding in the fresh lemon juice. This is 1 lemon. And now we're gonna start melting this down. We need this to be brought up to a boil before we add in the orange blossom so that the flavor stays in the syrup and it doesn't evaporate. The oven just beeped, it's preheated. I'm gonna go ahead and put the tray in. Bye-bye. This is now brought up to a boil, so it's time to add in the orange blossom. What I have left in this bottle is basically how much I need, so I'm just gonna pour it all in. I'm going to reduce the heat to a medium heat, and I'm gonna keep stirring this slowly until it thickens up, because right now it's still very runny and it needs to become a syrup. It's starting to get there. My grandma taught me that if it's still dripping and running really fast off the spoon, it's not ready. It needs to very slowly drip off. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like in a minute. Starting to feel it completely thicken up, so I put the heat down to low and it's gonna settle, and you'll be able to see once the bubbles disappear that it's gonna drip really slowly off the ladle. It is now ready. You guys can see that the spoon looks sticky and it's gonna start dripping nice and slowly off the edge. So now it's gonna need to cool and set. I like to let it cool on a cooling rack so that the bottom of the pot gets ventilation, and it's gonna get even thicker as it cools. The hair went up because the kitchen started to get really warm. We have our syrup cooling, so now we're gonna go ahead and start on our Graybeh cookies, which we need our KitchenAid for. Use non-dairy butter for our baking for the holidays because we can't mix meat and milk. So let's go ahead and start setting up the KitchenAid. First, obviously, we need to plug it in. We're gonna attach our attachment and make sure that your bowl is nice and secure in the base so that it doesn't go flying everywhere. The recipe calls for 227 grams of butter or just 2 sticks, whatever is easier for you, however you're baking. And you're just gonna go ahead and drop these into your machine and start whisking at a speed of 4 to 6 so it really whips it up. It's time for the powdered sugar. I like to put on an apron for this because it does get a little bit messy, and powdered sugar just always flies everywhere. Same with the flour, honestly. You know what? I'm gonna double the recipe actually. So I'm just gonna add in 2 more sticks of butter because I need to make a lot of these cookies or people are gonna be upset that there are not enough. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is the doubled going in. And then we're gonna be doing 2 cups of rose water. Just made a mess. And 2 cups of orange blossom. Now we're gonna remix on a medium speed just to get everything incorporated. It's splashing a little bit. Now comes the messy part. We're adding in the powdered sugar, and I need to put in 250 grams. So I'm gonna clear out my digital scale over here. It's at 0 grams, and I'm gonna take a nice big scoop, and I'm gonna scoop in 250 grams. That was 124. Now I'm gonna put the lid back on, and I'm just gonna turn on my KitchenAid, and it's gonna start sifting it out all by itself. Oops. This is great, particularly for this recipe, because all the dry ingredients need to be incorporated slowly, so this does just that. While that's incorporating, quick check of what's going on in here. This actually looks great. I just want it to get a little bit darker. Almost there, maybe another 5 minutes. This is what our syrup is looking like. It's really, really thick, so it's perfect. Let's go ahead and pull this out of the oven. Should probably grab 2 gloves, but that looks insane. Now it's time to pour on the syrup, and this is a very delicate science. It needs to go very slowly and cover the whole thing. So I need to make sure that I have enough. Go like so. It's gonna now remelt all that solidified sugar syrup, and it's gonna seep into every flaky layer. This looks so delicious. I cannot wait to taste it. Back to our cookies. I just added the first 360 grams of flour in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this on, and it's gonna slowly start adding our flour in. I love this thing. This is the best KitchenAid attachment ever. Dough starting to thicken up. Now that our dough is done, I need to roll it into balls, push my thumbprint into each one, and then add in an almond. Normally we use peeled almonds, but I don't have any and I don't have the patience to sit here and peel them. I just use a 1 teaspoon scoop to grab a little bit of dough, roll it into a ball so that they're nice and small, because they do flatten out a little bit when I push them down with my thumb. Here's one tray done, ready to go in the oven. Second tray done, ready to go in the oven. And then this one is almost done. Whoa, baking in the oven. It's about halfway done. They need to get a little bit more golden. I just pulled these out of the oven. They look so delicious. I just need to let them cool, and then I'm gonna top them off with some powdered sugar. Here they are with the powdered sugar drizzle. Now I just have 3 more sheets to go.